Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, I'm not going to make this video too long, but some good news for a change. I got somebody who's interested in purchasing some of my art as an NFT. Now, how do I convert my art into an NFT? Probably not too hard in this world, but I am not knowledgeable as of yet. But what I read last night, or rather this morning, I woke up at weird hours in the morning, as I was studying up on the space, is one of the hardest things that there is to do in the art space is get somebody to want to buy your art. And I have somebody that's interested. In fact, two people. One dude, I think he's more so trying to promote his YouTube channel, ironically enough. He's a YouTuber, I'm a YouTuber, so I gave him a sub. He's also, he wants to kind of, just kind of connect with me as well. So it's ironic that last night, the thing that I read was basically, about trying to set up an art website direct to consumer. You don't really want to get involved in trying to sell your art through any of these platforms, and to a point I never really wanted to. I don't. I have so much of my own art at this point that direct to consumer is something I could do without ever doing another piece, it seems, to be honest with you. 7,000 pieces done. So that's what it really comes down to. I've already shared a great deal of it, probably ill-advised, but I tell you the truth, man, my interest was not necessarily to sell my art, more so to just raise awareness for what it is that I'm doing. And then from there, the art will be worth something more once the awareness comes to who I am and all that I can do. So that's really what it is. Like, I could sell my pieces for what they're worth, or I can turn myself into what it is I think I'm going to become in other fields, and then see what the demand is once y'all know who I am through this, once y'all know through, all of these things. So maybe that's the wrong way to go. Maybe I need to focus on one thing and make that the business, but that's just not exactly how this works. I'm more of a creative, and the creative juices come to me in this way. So it's like, I ain't the businessman. I just kind of know what I've seen other people do wrong, and so now I want to learn what works. And what I read was direct to consumer is the best way to go. You get your email list going and all these different things, and ultimately you gotta, once you start getting yourself in a space where you actually have some buyers, you're gonna have to start expanding software so that you can keep up with all these different things. So it's a lot of stuff that's really, really big for someone like myself who's not used to being responsible for anything like that, to take on and do right. And so there's a lot to learn, but at the end of the day, this is what I want to do. The art is already made, and the ability to make more of it is very much there. The motivation to continue to make art is easy. I'm into it, and I don't necessarily want a job, meaning in the art field where you hire me to make pieces that you think are going to be duplicable. The reason why I don't want to do that is because I don't necessarily know how to call upon the creativity like that naturally. I'm not the guy to say, okay, can you make me a green piece? I may try to, but they're probably not going to be a very good green piece. I gotta want to make that piece. I gotta be in that vibe to create. So it's like, that's the kind of artist I am. I'm not really the artist that's going to keep doing I guess making, okay, you want these colors and it has to look this way, and then I'm not that talented of an artist. So at this point, it's just like, okay, people who are professionals, who really have put in the art effort over the years, who've gotten training, who's gone through school, who have natural ability, those are all the people that I think probably are more likely to want those jobs. I'm a guy who does pieces, and I would love to be able to sell those pieces in whatever way makes sense. And that's kind of how it is. So I think the art field is based on people really legitimately being professionals and talented. And so for me, it's just like, I'm just a guy who does pieces, and I think people are gonna like the pieces, whether they're well done or not. Is more so about what they feel when they look at those pieces. It's kind of what I'm gathering in regards to the type of art I do. So it's like, they got people out there who can make my face look as real as humanly possible. I try to draw a face right now, you're gonna laugh at that. Very, very amateur stuff. But when it comes to certain type of textures and things like that, texture art, I can make something look like a real cloud. I can make something look like a real piece of wood. I can make something look like the real inside of a fruit. Just little patterns like that I'm good at, waves and stuff like that, until there's a style to what it is that I do that's unique into itself. So I think it will take steam. And as I've told you guys, the emblem itself is what's going to make the art. The emblem, the BDF in the middle of a lot of these pages, and the emblem itself that I use all over not every piece, but a lot of pieces, it's the centerpiece of what it is that I'm doing. It's the letters and whatever the background is. The letters, sometimes they're huge, sometimes the letters are in weird different spots, sometimes I do different colors with the letters, sometimes I do dots. that will accentuate that you are seeing the words, the letters BDF, but won't actually be BDF, just a bunch of dots that kind of come together to make that. And it allows for the background of the art to kind of be more on the showcase of what it is that you're looking at. So it's a lot of different things that are unique to what it is I do that I think people are going to take to as a signature, like, yo, that's a BDF. That is a BDF piece. I know that piece when I see it, and every piece like it, it's going to be identifiable. That's what I've been able to create. And so it's like, all right, I know that people are going to take to that. They're going to take to it well. And I just need to create awareness. And from there, it is going to be a sellable thing. People are going to want to buy those types of pieces. But when it comes to me wanting to create them on the fly, when you call upon it, it's not how my creativity is going to manifest or be inspired. It'll likely turn into something I don't like. And that's ultimately a key thing for artists of all kinds. We got to be able to enjoy what it is that we do and self-motivate depending on what level we're at whatever art form we're doing. So this is the type of artist I am. And I want to sell my existing work and continue to just manifest whatever I want to within that work. And I want to take it to different textures. Once I get an opportunity to invest in self, we're not going to just be doing paper. We're going to be doing art on everything that we can, and we're going to put that emblem into digital situations as well. So the ability to build from here is endless. And I told you guys that my motivation in regards to building my brand is not just in one area. It's about 3 or 4 areas. So I don't know how I'm gonna do all this by myself, and I don't know that I have to. I just have to let people know what I'm doing and let the people who believe in me, to be empowered to do their jobs and do whatever it is that they would do to ultimately make this thing what it's gonna be. So we got to get off the ground first, and we got to get knowledgeable about what to do and what not to do in business and in art. And so that's really what it is, man. Got my first buyer. I don't know how to. The next thing that needs to happen in regards to this situation is she's going to tell me which one she wants. And I told her, I was like, let me know which ones you're interested in. I don't name any of them, but I'm pretty sure we can connect on some other way. She can screenshot them and send them to me another way. And I can prioritize putting those particular ones as NFTs, because as much art as I think is ready to go, there's also a lot of paper there that isn't art at all. That was just me doodling, trying to find myself artistically and failing to in some of those pieces. Some of them aren't supposed to be given to the public because honestly, they probably shouldn't have been nothing but thrown away. But just like everything else in art, the very thing that you think people aren't gonna like will be the very thing someone spends a lot of money on. And so because I'm at least vaguely aware of that truth, I try to keep and share everything, but not as it pertains to DeviantArt, that particular art platform. I do not put my worst work on, but Instagram and Facebook, I don't withhold any of my sharings, and I've let everybody see all that I've done who pays attention to me, which isn't a big following at all at this point on there. But on DeviantArt, it's starting to grow, and since there's so many pieces there, I think once people get there, they're going to realize there's so much to see that it can either overwhelm them or turn them into someone who's curious to see about just how far I'm going to take. How many pieces do I actually have is the question I would be asking if I looked at my DeviantArt gallery at this point. How many does he actually have? So yeah, that's where we're at, man. I did about 13 of them today, but I'm waiting on some new colors to come in. I told you guys I bought a bunch of markers on Temu, a bunch of paper on Temu. It's not supposed to be here for another couple of days, but I'm going to be that's me investing in self. The way I see it is the more I'm able to continue to provide fresh colors, the better my pieces are. Because at the end of the day, these dull colors I've been working with these last couple of days have made my pieces less than, even when I feel like I have the ability to do much more. So people take to those colors too, believe it or not, but there's more. There's so much more I want to do. So that's why I want to tell people that we're getting somewhere in this art field. Me sharing on DeviantArt has gotten me some followers. And ironically enough, different art is doing well in different places. That's what I'm learning. Different audiences like different stuff. DeviantArt was really taking well to my CD art, the stuff that I did for my playlist. But when I put it on Pixiv, barely got any looks. They only really take to the paper art. So it's like, okay, you just understand that I think Pixiv, their fan base is in Japan, I believe it is. The basis of where this stuff is going, the awareness I'm creating with that one, I think is out there. So maybe they just have a different way of appreciating paper art. But my awareness on that platform is growing too. So I gotta find other platforms I can share on. Not looking to sell, just raise awareness, let people be like curious about what I'm doing, and then we can do the direct to consumer thing based on that. If I continue to learn that it makes sense that way. And so that's where we're at, man. I'm likely going to be looking to use YouTube to help with that connection as well. Use this platform to try to help myself gain some knowledge, maybe even have more conversations about art on the channel. Kind of make some more sense of what it is that I'm ultimately trying to learn about, which is how to promote, sell, and ultimately raise awareness for myself and my art. So I'm not selling myself, by the way. Not doing that. But the art, I definitely am open to parting ways with if it makes the most sense. I got a lot of paper here, which is likely meant to be turning into NFT in this era, but I still think there could be some useful paper historically when it comes to art. 300 years from now, if we can preserve paper art, I think it might hold some weight in somebody's mind somehow. I think it will. So I think we're in the middle of the digital age right now, or the beginning of the digital age rather. And when you look in the grand scheme of things, it's actually the beginning. And I do believe we'll continue to go further digital for sure, obviously. But I also think that people will continue to be retro as it pertains to art. People will still want to be retro. Just, I feel the same way about clothing to a degree. It's just going to continue to cycle. I think we'll probably wear the same, everything we've ever worn, we're going to wear again over the next 300 years. And so I think as it pertains to the need for art, since it's aged so well, canvases have aged for thousands of years, I don't think that we're going to do away with that canvas art at all going forward. I don't. And I think paper art still holds weight. Physical paper probably still holds very much value. So that is why I don't necessarily want to throw everything away. When I say I don't want to, I don't intend to, unless it's forced to leave it in this apartment for some strange reason. It's the only reason why I would see that being the case. But I plan on selling the paper art. If for some reason someone really wants that, we will negotiate ways of doing that. So that's really where I'm at, man. I'm excited. I haven't really shown as much of this art on this channel as I probably should be, but I think I'm gonna have to crack open that that container down there with all that art and start sorting through the stuff that I know is going to be on demand versus the stuff that I know I don't believe in. And that's the best way I know to describe it. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. This is all about the art. This is all about how over the last week I've been sharing like crazy, and I found somebody, more than one person, but definitely somebody who liked it so much that they want to reach out, and she said purchase some, not one piece. She wants to purchase. So who knows? I don't know what this stuff is worth, and I ain't gonna ask her how much she wants to pay for it, but I am so green that I don't want to disrespect people and say, oh yeah, $300,000 a piece. Like, you know what I mean? I think my stuff may be worth that to me, but that's because I am looking to sell my art, and there's no limit to my greed in regards to that. I don't think anybody really wants to put a price tag on what they've made that didn't necessarily be meant to be sent out, which my art actually was. The art that I did, I knew that I would share because I already had that in my head that I was going to post everything. But as far as the idea of selling it and that has come along well after I started this process. Well after, and so that's really what it is. If I would have had that in mind from the beginning, I probably would have did things a little different. But these pieces are organically made just the same. That's the point. The art is real. It wasn't with nothing in mind other than I feel like making art and now I want to get better at it and practice every day. That was literally all I was thinking every single day. I was making every single piece for the most part. So it was the practice of it. Dealing with my anxiety, dealing with my isolation, it gave me the ability to make 7,000 art pieces in a matter of 2 years. So that's exactly where we're at. And when you do something 7,000 times, you're gonna find some continuity in what you're doing. If not, get a lot better at it. So that's what's happened here. Ready to sell, ready to hit the sell button on some of these pieces and improve my short term. I don't know if I can improve my life, but with as many pieces that I have, probably should be able to at least help myself a lot. So that's really what it comes down to, man. Like, as I was praying and meditating about, and I think I've mentioned this already over the last couple of weeks, the works are in hand now. The works are done. Now, my desire to remain creative is never been higher because I feel like I've finally gotten good at something in this field. But It's not about necessarily me doing any more pieces, more so than about just getting those pieces out. And to refamiliar, how do you say that? Making myself more familiar with my own pieces. Because I'm telling y'all, every time I go through, I see something that I don't remember making, that I feel like I've never seen before. And that's just what happens when you make so many of those. You just make them without even thinking. You pushing out. They have days where I pushed out like 40 of them in one day. And so it's like, there are gonna be pieces there. I was literally had nothing in mind. I was just moving my hands around. And so I'm telling y'all the truth. And so that's really what it comes down to. I think that I just am ready to share with whoever will most connect with those pieces. And as a spiritual person, I've prayed over everything I've done, and what has powered me has been spirituality. So I hope that good can be found within those pieces. It's all of that good stuff. So that's really what it is, man. I'm happy that someone's interested, and I hope that you'll be interested too. If you go on DeviantArt and follow BDF 44, check out all of the art that I got there. You're gonna be sitting there for over an hour scrolling. I'm not kidding at all. You're gonna sit there for a long time scrolling through all of it, and the better stuff is at the bottom, because I put a lot of my better stuff out first, because I ain't know any better and still don't know any better apparently, because it's left there. But that's the point, man. I just share, man. I don't really think about the business aspect and on and on. I just want to get what's in out, because I'm by myself. So the way I see it is, whatever needs to be shared now, because you don't know what's gonna happen when you live by yourself. You isolate like I do, you might die in your sleep. You know what I mean? And whatever I don't post ain't getting posted. So it's like, I got to put it all out. I gotta think that way. On this level, I legitimately think that way. Even though I'm healthy and all that, small odds are still odds. And so for me, it's like, get it all out, get the awareness out, and then as we're seeing, if someone likes what they see, then they can come back and purchase it. But that it be out first, I'm not against that, even though some of those pieces probably should be reserved. I'm not considering that, because at the end of the day, that was most so what I was thinking. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. Context with how you doing things, wondering why people do certain things, and then when you understand what's going on in their head, you're like, oh, so that's why they did that thing. What, in a way that I think is incorrect. And it's all about just not really having any certainty to my life at all. If, for example, something happens to my phone, all the pictures are gone. Like, everything is now posted, it's there, so it is another place. But before I start this process, it was either in the phone or in that container. Lose the phone, get locked out of this apartment, which looks imminent for me. And for some reason, I can't recover those art's gone. So it's like, look, this was the time to get out all the good art digitally, so that it can be on a third platform. Lose my phone, lose that, there's still a bunch of pieces in two different places I can refer to. If nothing else, say they're in the world. They're there, man. And so I can probably convert them to NFTs based on that. But they do have to be scanned. I know that. So we gotta go through that process of scanning them. And maybe I'll buy myself a scanner, and gotta get Wi-Fi for all that. Y'all know how it is. But I think now that I know I have a buyer, I can use that as motivation to do the things necessary to invest in such, and will. So that's the most important thing. Where there's one, there's a mill. And that's what marketing taught me. Growing up in Hollywood, that's how you think. Maybe that's not necessarily the ratio, but that is exactly how they look at these things. For every one person, it's like 4,000 or something. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, that's what's in my mind. So, yeah. Go buy myself some weed. Even though I told myself I probably shouldn't based on what they told me. I have run out, and I'm not quite ready to stop. But I don't want to buy what I told you I was going to buy. Remember that? Well, they changed the price on something that I've been buying. I ain't trying to spend more for it than I have to, because I don't love it like that. So I might be going a different route, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm trying to maintain my head. And one of the things that really keeps me going artistically is being able to audible into Oreo, which is the name of the weed that I was smoking. And it's been very much good to complement that. So that's a choice. I don't think that everybody should pick up smoking if they haven't. My lungs have been used to smoking for a long time. Maybe the reason I check out based on how much smoking I've done, and that's not nothing to take lightly. But I just tell everybody that I was trying to manage my head, man, and I guilt tripped myself over being a smoker for many years, and I no longer do that. What I look at it is medication. The psychologist told me he wants me to wean off of weed and then open my mind to medication, and we've already discussed how I feel about that. You know what I mean? And so I know that's where they're going with that. They're going to want me to choose their medication, and I'm already smart enough to know that that is some bull crap. So they're gonna find out how smart I am in that regard, and hopefully we can get that early. But the point is, I'm gonna choose to purchase weed because I'm gonna choose to medicate that way, and hopefully what it is that I choose doesn't make it worse in regards to my anxiety or even doing content on this channel. So I've given disclaimers before when I say I'm gonna buy some new weed. Be careful when it usually turns into me doing fine on the camera, but I am gonna probably purchase something new. So we'll see how it goes. But the point is, artistically, whatever it is that I'm doing is gonna be manifested, from within an organic space. Is essentially what I'm trying to articulate here. It's not gonna be me sitting here saying, okay, now somebody wants to buy it, so they gotta be better pieces. Now I gotta change the way I'm thinking. Let me use these colors because I know people like these colors. I'm not gonna get into that. I think that's the worst way to try to create. And I think people are drawn to stuff that isn't forced a good portion of the time. If you're forcing something, it's gonna bleed through somehow. And in doing so, they're just not gonna love it. And so usually pieces that I've done that people have taken the most to, based on what I'm seeing, is stuff that I did with a lot of detail in mind, but also stuff that I did that had a bold nature to it. Patterns that people like. One of my green pieces did very well, where all I really did was just stroke at a certain angle the whole sheet, the same picture, same way, same color, and then just put my emblem in the middle of it, and they loved it to death. And I'm like, that's not there ain't nothing to me to do that, but it's organic. Now if you tell me to do it again, probably ain't gonna come out the same way. They probably wouldn't like it. It wasn't what I was feeling in the moment. So that's the point I'm trying to make. I appreciate that the Lord allowed me to understand the concept of art. It's a fluid thing. So it doesn't matter if you put one stroke on the picture or a million colors on the picture, or whether it's well done and polished or horribly done and looks like a child did it. Art is not to be viewed as good or bad in a lot of cases. It's supposed to give what it's supposed to give, and that's it. If you say my art is ugly, good. It's supposed to be ugly if it's an ugly piece, but that is deliberate and that it stands as its own entity is the importance of what makes it an art form. And that's what I gotta say. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.